Every great achievement in this world began as a single thought held firmly in the mind of one person. Success is never the result of scattered effort. It is born when desire is concentrated, when energy is directed toward one clear purpose, and when a person refuses to divide their attention between many aims. The moment you decide to focus on one thing and stay with it, you place yourself on the path that leads out of confusion and into power, right. Every achievement that has ever lifted a human being above the ordinary began with a clear and definite aim. Without such an aim, effort becomes scattered and energy is wasted. A person may work hard every day and still remain poor in results if the mind has not decided exactly what it wants. A definite aim is more than a wish or a vague hope. It is a firm decision planted deeply in the mind, supported by belief, and reinforced by daily action. When the mind knows precisely where it is going, it begins to draw power, ideas, and opportunities toward that direction. A definite aim gives meaning to effort. Without it, people drift from one task to another, reacting to circumstances instead of directing them. They allow the opinions of others, temporary emotions, and daily distractions to determine their course. Such a life is ruled by chance, not choice. The person with a definite aim, however, lives by intention. Each step is connected to a larger purpose, and even small actions carry weight because they are part of a clear plan. The mind functions best when it has a single dominant objective. When you decide upon your aim and hold it firmly, your thoughts begin to organize themselves around it. Ideas appear that were previously unseen. Problems begin to reveal solutions. What once seemed confusing starts to make sense because the mind is no longer pulled in multiple directions. This is not coincidence. It is the natural result of focused thought. The subconscious mind responds to clarity and certainty, not confusion and doubt. Many people mistake movement for progress. They remain busy, yet they move in circles because their efforts are not guided by a definite aim. Activity without direction leads to exhaustion, frustration, and disappointment. A clear aim acts like a compass. It does not remove obstacles, but it prevents you from getting lost. Even when you make mistakes, you are able to correct your course because you know where you are headed. A definite aim also builds inner strength. When challenges arise, the person who knows their purpose does not collapse under pressure. Temporary defeat is seen as a lesson rather than a verdict. Criticism loses its power because the individual is no longer seeking approval from the outside world. Confidence grows from within, rooted in the certainty of purpose. This confidence is quiet but powerful, and it attracts cooperation from others who recognize its presence. Indecision is one of the greatest enemies of success. A mind that cannot decide what it wants will never command the forces needed to achieve it. When you choose your aim, you are choosing to take responsibility for your life. You stop blaming circumstances and begin shaping them. This decision marks the moment when desire transforms into commitment and hope turns into determination. The strength of a definite aim increases with repetition and action. Each day that you think about it, speak about it, and work toward it, the aim becomes more real. It moves from imagination into reality through consistent effort. Even when progress is slow, the aim remains alive, guiding you forward and preventing you from surrendering to doubt or fear. No person can serve two major purposes equally well. The mind must choose. When you give your full loyalty to one clear objective, you harness the full power of your thoughts, emotions, and actions. This unity of purpose is the foundation upon which lasting success is built. Right, a divided mind is one of the greatest causes of failure, not because it lacks talent or opportunity, but because its power is scattered. When attention is pulled in many directions, effort loses its strength. Energy that could move mountains becomes diluted, and progress slows until it is barely visible. The mind was never designed to pursue many major objectives at once. Its true power is revealed only when it is concentrated on a single course of action. Most people believe they are making progress because they are busy, yet busyness without focus creates nothing of lasting value. One moment they are committed to one goal, the next they are attracted by another idea, another promise, another shortcut. Each shift weakens momentum. The mind must begin again every time direction changes, and the cost of restarting is often invisible but enormous. Confidence fades, enthusiasm declines, and self-trust erodes. When the mind is divided, doubt finds an easy entrance. Uncertainty grows because there is no solid foundation to stand on. The individual begins to question every step, not because the path is wrong, but because there are too many paths competing for attention. This inner conflict drains emotional strength and creates a constant feeling of pressure without progress. Decisions become difficult, and action becomes inconsistent. Nature demonstrates a simple law that never fails. Force applied in one direction produces results, while force scattered in many directions produces weakness. The same principle governs the human mind. Focused thought carries intensity. Divided thought carries confusion. When you attempt to chase multiple ambitions at the same time, each one receives only a fraction of your potential, and none are served well enough to succeed. A divided mind also invites outside influence. Without a clear internal direction, a person becomes vulnerable to the opinions and expectations of others. Advice, criticism, and comparison begin to dictate choices. The individual reacts instead of leads, follows instead of crea. This dependence on external approval further weakens self-belief and deepens confusion. Clarity comes from commitment. The moment you choose one primary objective and release the others, the mind begins to settle. Thought becomes calmer, action becomes sharper, and energy flows more naturally. Discipline replaces chaos. Instead of feeling pulled, you feel driven. Instead of questioning every move, you trust the process because it is aligned with a clear decision. Many fear commitment because they mistake it for limitation. In truth, commitment is liberation. It frees the mind from endless choice and doubt. It allows full expression of ability. The greatest achievements in history were not the result of divided attention, but of sustained concentration applied over time. Mastery requires loyalty to a single purpose. The mind gains strength through consistency. Each day of focused effort reinforces belief. Each small result builds momentum. Over time, what once required great effort begins to feel natural. This is impossible for a divided mind because inconsistency prevents the formation of productive habits. When you understand that weak results come not from lack of effort, but from lack of focus, you reclaim control. By choosing one direction and committing to it fully, you gather your scattered energy and transform it into force. The mind becomes an ally instead of an obstacle, and effort finally begins to yield results worthy of the work invested. Persistence is the visible form of faith applied through action. It is not a sudden burst of effort, but a steady commitment that continues long after excitement has faded. Many begin their journey with passion, but only a few remain when results are delayed. The difference between those who succeed and those who stop is not intelligence or luck, but the ability to remain focused on the chosen aim despite obstacles, discouragement, and temporary defeat. Every worthwhile goal demands time. Growth happens beneath the surface long before it becomes visible. Those who lack persistence often misjudge silence for failure. They abandon their efforts just before progress is about to appear. Persistence understands that delay is part of development. It recognizes that effort invested today may not reward immediately, yet it continues because the purpose is clear and the focus is strong. Focus gives persistence its direction. Without focus, persistence becomes stubborn repetition without purpose. When effort is aligned with a clear objective, persistence becomes powerful. Each attempt, whether successful or not, adds experience. Each setback refines strategy. Instead of weakening resolve, difficulty strengthens it because the mind is trained to see challenges as steps rather than barriers. Temporary defeat is a natural companion of progress. Those who persist do not deny its presence, but they refuse to let it define the outcome. Failure is treated as information, not identity. With each attempt, the mind learns what works and what does not. Persistence allows these lessons to accumulate until success becomes unavoidable. The habit of persistence is built through daily discipline. Small, repeated actions shape character. When effort becomes routine, motivation is no longer required. The mind no longer waits for perfect conditions. It acts because action has become a standard, not a choice. Over time, this consistency compounds into strength that cannot be easily shaken. Persistence also protects against doubt. Doubt thrives in hesitation and inactivity. When a person continues to act, even imperfectly, doubt loses its influence. Confidence grows from evidence created by action. Each step taken reinforces belief, making it easier to continue even when the path feels uncertain. Many confuse persistence with force. True persistence is calm and controlled. It does not rush and it does not panic. It trusts the process while adjusting methods. This balance between firmness of purpose and flexibility of approach allows progress to continue without exhaustion. Persistence does not demand immediate reward. It demands commitment to the journey. Over time, persistence transforms the mind. What once felt difficult becomes familiar. Fear weakens as courage strengthens. Obstacles that once seemed overwhelming become manageable. This transformation is gradual, but it is powerful. The individual no longer measures success by speed, but by continuity. When focus and persistence work together, effort gains depth. The mind remains loyal to the aim, and action remains steady regardless of circumstances. This union creates momentum that builds quietly but relentlessly, carrying the individual forward through resistance and uncertainty toward the fulfillment of purpose. Right? Discipline is the bridge between intention and achievement. Without it, even the clearest goal remains an unfulfilled desire. Distraction is not merely an external force, it is an internal weakness that arises when discipline is absent. The mind that lacks control becomes a playground for impulses, emotions, and outside influences, each pulling attention away from purposeful action. Every distraction steals energy. A moment here, an hour there, and soon days are lost without meaningful progress. The greatest danger of distraction is not that it wastes time, but that it weakens self-respect. Each time a person chooses comfort over commitment, the mind learns to doubt its own promises. Over time, this pattern erodes confidence and replaces ambition with regret. Discipline restores authority over the mind. It is the practice of choosing long-term purpose over short-term pleasure. This choice, repeated daily, strengthens focus. Discipline does not eliminate desire, it directs it. Instead of reacting to every impulse, the disciplined mind evaluates whether an action serves the chosen aim. If it does not, it is dismissed without struggle. Many wait for motivation to appear before taking action. D. Discipline understands that action comes first. Motivation is often the result, not the cause of progress. When discipline leads, consistency follows. Even on days when enthusiasm is low, effort continues. This reliability builds momentum that distraction cannot easily interrupt. Discipline also creates mental clarity. When boundaries are established, the mind becomes quieter. Decisions are simpler because they are guided by principle rather than mood. The constant internal debate that drains energy is replaced by certainty. The individual no longer asks whether to act, only how to act better. External distractions lose their power when internal discipline is strong. Noise, opinions, and temptations may remain, but they no longer control behavior. Focus becomes a habit rather than a struggle. The mind learns to return to its purpose quickly, even after interruption. Discipline is not harshness toward oneself, it is self-respect in action. It recognizes that potential deserves protection. Each disciplined choice reinforces identity. The individual begins to see themselves as reliable, capable, and committed. This self-image fuels further discipline, creating a cycle of strength. Progress achieved through discipline is stable. It does not depend on mood or circumstance. When challenges arise, discipline provides structure. Instead of reacting emotionally, the individual responds deliberately. This steadiness builds resilience and prevents burnout. The disciplined mind understands that success is built in quiet moments. It is formed when no one is watching, when comfort tempts surrender, and when distraction promises ease. By consistently choosing focus over impulse, discipline sharpens attention and aligns action with purpose, allowing effort to accumulate into meaningful results. Right, true progress requires loyalty to a single path. The desire to chase many opportunities at once is often driven by impatience rather than ambition. People abandon one direction not because it has failed, but because another appears easier or faster. This constant switching creates the illusion of movement while preventing real advancement. Mastery demands time, repetition, and depth, all of which are impossible when attention is repeatedly redirected. Every skill, profession, or calling has layers that reveal themselves only through sustained effort. The surface may be learned quickly, but true excellence lies beneath, accessible only to those who remain long enough to uncover it. When a person changes direction too soon, they carry unfinished lessons with them. These gaps accumulate and limit growth, no matter how many new paths are explored. Commitment to one path allows the mind to build momentum. Each day of focused practice compounds the last. Small improvements, often unnoticed, begin to add up. Confidence grows not from variety, but from familiarity earned through repetition. The individual becomes efficient, precise, and calm because the work is no longer for gain. This sense of control cannot be developed through constant change. Comparison is a common reason people abandon their path. Seeing others succeed in different fields creates doubt and dissatisfaction. What is rarely seen is the long period of struggle that preceded visible success. By comparing outcomes without understanding effort, many are tempted to quit prematurely. Staying committed requires trust in one's own journey rather than envy of another's results. Mastery also requires the courage to say no. Every new opportunity, distraction, or alternative path demands time and energy. Saying yes to everything ensures progress in nothing. The disciplined choice to remain focused protects the investment already made. Depth is always more powerful than breadth when it comes to lasting success. When one path is pursued fully, challenges become teachers instead of threats. Difficulty signals growth, not failure. Each obstacle reveals weaknesses that can be strengthened. Over time, the individual develops insight and intuition that cannot be taught. This understanding comes only from experience gained through persistence in one direction. Abandoning a path too early prevents the development of identity. Mastery shapes not only skill, but character. The person becomes known, both to themselves and others, for their dedication. This reputation attracts trust, opportunity, and cooperation. In contrast, constant change creates confusion and weakens credibility. There is a differ, NCE, between adjustment and abandonment. Refining methods is wise, surrendering direction is costly. Those who succeed remain flexible in approach but firm in purpose. They improve how they work without changing why they work. This balance allows growth without loss of focus. When energy is devoted to one pursuit, progress becomes inevitable. The mind aligns with the task, habits support the goal, and effort gains direction. Mastery is not achieved through talent alone, but through the willingness to stay when others leave, to deepen when others scatter, and to remain faithful to a single path until it yields its reward.